Welcome to this video on writing prompts for Stable Diffusion. In the previous video we saw that, in all honesty, it is a lot of trial and error to get the image that you intend to, and changing even one word in the prompt can sometimes have a dramatic impact on the outcome. However, it can be approached a little bit more analytic by choosing keywords out of these 10 categories. So let's have a look what these categories mean. Undoubtedly, the subject is one of the main keywords that we need. If I type in the prompt I want a chipmunk, then this is what can come out. If I type woman, let's do that, and I now hit Ctrl Enter, that is generate, then we get 4 outputs of a woman. I have a batch count of 4, but well, they are not photos. I would have liked photos, not these paintings or drawings. So medium is a second very important keyword. Let's ask for a photo of a woman and then generate again, Ctrl Enter, and see what happens next. Yes, I do get 4 photos, but maybe these were not exactly the photos I was hoping for. I was hoping to see a beautiful girl. Well, not that these are not beautiful, they are beautiful in their own right, but I want a color photo of a beautiful girl. I could type in color photo and beautiful girl, but what also is fun to do is to use a celebrity. Let's do the actress Mila Kunis, or how do you pronounce it, and let's see if Stable Diffusion knows her. Well, apparently it does. I get 4 photos of Mila Kunis. Admittedly, this model that I'm using, the SD 1.5, is not the very best model for realistic photos, but we will change that in a future video to go to another model. Anyhow, Mila Kunis is known. Let's try another actress like Meg Ryan and see if she is also known. Ctrl Enter. Probably she is. And well, of course, not every actress in the world or actor in the world will be in, but many of them are. A fun thing that can be done is to mingle 2 persons. Let's try that out. We need a square bracket. Where is it? Over here. And then a semicolon, and then Mila Kunis again, and then another semicolon, and then a semicolon, and then an amount of steps that we want to render the first and then the second. I have here 20 steps, so let's say after step 6 we are going to change the rendering to Mila Kunis. Let's have a look what this is going to render as. We now get completely different images. Apparently this is a sort of mix of Meg Ryan and Mila Kunis, and of course you can play with this number where to start that shift from the one to the other, and that can change the outcome dramatically. So this is a little trick how to mingle 2 persons or subjects. This is the way to do that. Okay, that was a small side path. We were talking about medium and now we did photo, but let's change that to something completely different. Let's say I want a charcoal drawing of a girl who vaguely looks like Mila Kunis, and that is done by this attention that was in the previous video. You can use Ctrl arrow up or Ctrl arrow down to change the emphasis of a word. Let's render this, a charcoal drawing that should look completely different, and indeed it does. We can already see that we now get these kinds of outputs. So the medium is a very important keyword to steer what your image is going to look like. And now you can ask, yeah, but how do I know what mediums there are? Well, there is a help. You can of course always Google. I went to this website called Promptmania, and that Promptmania website has a prompt builder over there, and we are in that prompt builder right now, and we can click over here on the art medium, and then you have a lot of subjects like drawings, and yeah, then we can see already what it more or less is going to look like. So let's do one other example. Let's go to paint, and there are a lot of paint styles, and well, let's try watercolor and then see what happens. So I'm going to change my charcoal drawing to watercolor. I don't think I need that word drawing, because watercolor is quite a strong word. There's only one way to go, and yes, now we get a watercolor painting. Well, these look all quite nice and interesting and colorful, and this is the way that we can use the keyword medium into the direction that we would like. Now these are all quite realistic paintings in watercolor. I could also change the style. That is another keyword category. The art style. Suppose that we change the prompt into give me an abstract painting, and let's see what that renders us, and that will look completely different, and indeed we get all kinds of abstract paintings this time, and yeah, that's a completely different type of image. So style is something that we can use as a keyword to change the image. Now if you like to know what styles there are, well, quite a few. Just Google some. I googled you to a certain website, and it gives me images of all kinds of styles, and I can try to use those styles in my prompt and see what happens. Oh wait, here I see a Baroque painting, let's say more a Rembrandt kind of style. Let's try that out, a Baroque painting. I have that over here. Baroque painting. Let's try to get Mila in a very medieval style. Well, that indeed completely changes the outcome. And that is all quite interesting. Instead of using a keyword in the style category, probably one of the strongest keywords is in the category artist. There are a few thousand artists known in Stable Diffusion. Let's try one of them, or maybe two. I have here an artist called Agnes Cécile. She has a very personal style of painting. Let's look what this is going to render us. We now get a girl which faintly will look like Mila Kunis in the style of Agnes Cécile, and well, we can see that is a very specific style. So naming an artist in your prompt has a dramatic effect on the outcome. Alright, how can we find an artist? Well, Google of course always is your friend, but there is this wonderful, absolutely wonderful website called Stable Diffusion Artist List. It has 11 pages of artists that apparently are available inside Stable Diffusion, and we can immediately see the style that this artist paints in. So just copy paste that name and you will get something like this. And there's also another website. That website is the Seed Science website, and that is incredible. Look what they have rendered for us. Let's click on Artist Styles 16. That there are 16 pages of artist styles apparently. Here are a lot of artists. We can click, here we have our Agnes Cecile. We immediately recognize her now, of course. Yeah, that is Agnes Cecile. So that is that's really working wonderful. You look up a picture that you like, the style of which you like, and then just click it, and then you get to see the name of the artist. And for this image, you even get exactly the rendering characteristics, how this was rendered. So this is an absolutely beautiful website to use and find some artist. Alright, we have used Agnes Cecile, and apparently she paints only faces, at least it looks that way. So let's do a little experiment and see what happens if I like a painting of a cat done by Agnes Cecile. Let's see if Agnes can paint cats. Well, yeah, there is a little cat. Yeah, no, there's no cat. Agnes, yeah, there is a cat. And there's no cat again. So Agnes is, this association, which we talked about in the previous video. If you name Agnes Cecile, Stable Diffusion knows that she mainly paints faces and not so much cats. But we know a way to help that out, of course. We can emphasize the word cat a little bit. Control arrow up. Let's do 1.5 and see if I can get Agnes to paint a cat. Yeah, there is a different cat already, another different cat. Yes, another cat, and yet I hope, yeah, now we get 4 cats. So that's the way that you force Agnes to paint a cat. Let's pick another artist just for fun, one more, see how strong an artist name in your prompt is. Let's do a cat by Ellen Jewett. 4 cats, and see how Ellen draws her cats. Oh, these are completely different images, and that is, yeah, great fun, of course, to experiment with artist names. And like we saw before with the mix of Mila Kunis and Meg Ryan, you can, in the same fashion, mix different artists. Let's try that out. Let's do 8 steps of Ellen, and then 12 steps, yeah, 8, that's enough, I think. 8 steps of Ellen, and then 12 steps of Agnes, and see how they paint together. Okay, yeah, that is looking completely different now, and we can indeed see that Ellen and Agnes have been working together to get these very interesting paintings. Right, artist, one of the strongest keywords that you can have. What you also can do is name a website that is about art, and what you often see in prompts on the internet is this one, trending on ArtStation. ArtStation is a famous website, and then apparently people always use these words trending on in front of it. I don't know why. We are going to see why. Let's first render this and see if Mila Kunis look like on ArtStation, how she looks. A little bit like this. Now, I personally was interested in what happens if I don't use this trending on. Let's just delete that and see if that makes a dramatic difference or just a very small difference, or maybe no difference at all. Well, in my eyes the difference is very, very small. I don't exactly remember the previous renders, but these are look completely the same to me. So for me it is enough to use only ArtStation. There is another website called DeviantArt. Let's try that one and see if that gives us a different style of artwork. Maybe not so much. Well, a little bit different, but not too much. Anyhow, you can use famous art websites as your keyword and you will get an image that is towards that general style. The next category is the resolution. In prompts we often see words like highly detailed or intricate or 4K or HD. Those kind of words talk about the amount of detail. Let's create a painting of a Viking without any reference to detail. We get 4 paintings of Vikings and well, they already have some detail but not too much. As we can see, they are well, a little bit coarse drawn. But now let's add a word like highly detailed. Highly detailed. That is a phrase that is often seen, or also another phrase, intricate. Well, let's just try both of them. Why not? And see if that gives us a more detailed drawings. Well, I think it does. I mean, yeah, the drawings are completely different, but indeed, if we look over here and over here, there are much more very fine details in these drawings. So these are words that help to get highly detailed images. The next category, an important one, is attributes of our subject. Let's do a few simple examples. We did make a render of a photo of a woman. Let's now do a photo of a Chinese woman. So we are adding an attribute or a detail of what we want our subject to look like. And indeed, now we do get Chinese women. So that really works. Yeah, these are all, well, young or middle-aged women. Does Stable Diffusion also know something about age? Let's say I like a woman age 80. Let's see how it handles that. That's another detail that we added, and yeah, immediately our images are giving us completely different women, older women. So age is a very good attribute for photo style renders. Does it also know something about beauty? Because in many prompts that I read, I see this word beautiful. Let's see if Stable Diffusion knows something about beauty. That is a vague term. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, of course. But yeah, indeed, we do get on average younger women, and well, they are all indeed rather beautiful. So it also has a sense of beauty. However, still, it remains a lot of trial and error, and what I always like to do is, when I have a prompt, is change one word for a completely nonsense word. Let's type here any word. So I changed a beautiful by any word. That is a nonsense situation. What do we get out? Well, Stable Diffusion is still making images of yeah, rather beautiful or maybe very ugly or strange women. You can fool the system by just giving random noise words input, and still you can be surprised of what sometimes can come out. Yet another category of very strong influencing keywords is color. Suppose I would render a room, a living room, in a color cream. Let's do that, and of course we get living rooms that mainly consist of creamy colors. That works quite well. Color is a very strong keyword. These are all quite creamy, so let's change cream by the word orange, and immediately we will see a strong effect, which means that the keyword color is quite helpful if you want to steer in a certain direction. This obviously is working quite strong as a keyword. The final keyword category we are going to have a look at is lighting. Suppose I like to draw a park with a pond and trees, and just don't add any other keyword, and then we get 4 parks. And they are, well, already quite nice, but just your average holiday picture. I can make it a little bit more interesting. There's a photography term called golden hour, which means you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and try to catch the early sunlight. And Stable Diffusion probably knows this method very well, and immediately you get more interesting images in my view. At least a couple of them have much nicer lighting. And we can also change this to a nightly picture in the moonlight, and then probably we get a completely different mood in these pictures, more bluish colors. Maybe we even get a moon in view, even a very large moon. And of course you can also play around with spotlights or daylight or studio light or backlight, any kind of light that you can imagine. Google is again your friend. Or this website that we already had a look at a couple of times. This is also talking about lighting. Here it is, lighting. Types of lighting, well, there are plenty of them. So this promptmania, that's the word of this site, can be very helpful to find something that a mood you are in, something you would like to go to. Well, this was it. Keywords in 10 different categories, and if you use them in a mix or use all the 10 categories, you will be able to control a bit more what is going to come out. Although it always stays a matter of trial and error, and even changing one word in your prompt can generate completely different images. Well, maybe see you back in the next video, and in the meantime, have fun.